Okay, let's take a look at Lucidpress. Lucidpress is a document publishing utility application, and it also connects with your Google account. One nice feature, if you decide to use this on a regular basis, is you can connect it to your Google Drive, and you can see here you can link it to your Google Drive for that integration. You know, on the free version you only get 25 megs, and so you just got to be careful with how much you upload and then your published documents. So if you're using it to, if you're going to use it to in your classroom, it's fine because the free version allows everybody to create a couple documents and share it. You can print from it, and that's not really a big deal. But if it's something you want to use long term, it might be worth your investment for the paid version, so that you don't have to worry about deleting some of your stuff. But anyway, getting into it, if you go to create a document, they have a number of templates already available. You can see the categories on the side, and again, the templates kind of just help you with the layout. You see here, for example, with posters, you can preview what the template may look like, and what the layout might be. So I'm just going to take you into one of the posters that I was using in my class, and you can see here, just clicking on edit. So there are quite a bit of features that you can use in this. A lot of features, if you've used Adobe, that you'll find in this, which is one of the reasons why I like it, because there are a lot of things you can do with this for free. Well, let me just take you through a couple of the basic things that you can do with it, though. On the side here, you can add extra pages. If you click on this, this shows you all of the extra pages you have. Now, right now, we're just working with one because we're using a poster, but if you were to use a magazine, for example, which I've done in this before, I've created full magazines and they've come out pretty well. You might actually have multiple pages in this thumbnail. Well, let me show you one, for example, of what I've done with. Now, this I've used this free hosting site to publish and host the actual publication, but I used Lucidpress to publish the actual book, and this is what you're able to produce with it when it's done. You just use the layout, make all your fonts, put all your images in, and it comes out just like that. So you really can make a pretty decent quality product with this free software. On this, you can add scrolling areas to your page if you're going to make it a web page. You can add text to your area. You can just click on text, it adds this text box right here, and just grab it, you move it around. Everything in this is just like you would find in InDesign with Adobe. When you double click on it, you're able to edit the text. You can drag this box. Over on the right panel is where you're going to see all the styling attributes for everything that you click on. You're going to see all of your fonts. You can upload your own fonts, manage the fonts you have. You can, your font size, the font color. You can everything, all your alignments, your spacing, everything, all the way down. You can link it, wrap, all of it. You have the styling, the fill, the color, border, opacity. You can make it shadow, and so forth. I'm going to take that, take away the text box. Here's where you add your images. You can upload your new images. You can upload from these sources here. You can, once you grab it, then you can move this around. Now, when you're working with a template like this, you notice that there is preloaded images, and I click on an image like this, and it shows me this box. But if you look over here, this image is a big rectangle, but you only see this square. That's because this is a mask, this circle mask, kind of like a picture frame with a matting that only shows you the circle. And you can edit the mask, which now it shows you the full rectangle picture, but what it shows you here. And you can resize the mask to be a different size, see? Or you can resize the image within that mask, reposition it, depending on what you want. And you can resize the image from here, or you can resize the image pixels here. But once you get it how you want it, you just hit enter and it returns. So now when you grab it here and move it, it's going to move the whole thing all together. Now, if you notice when I grab this, I'm trying to find it, but you see these little squares. That's because if I click down here in layers, some things are locked. And when I've clicked on this, I can see which one is highlighted in blue, and I can unlock it. So now it unlocks all the points. So now I'm going to go to my image and try to move this around. And edit the mask. Now let's say I just want to change the picture. I just change the image, upload a new picture, for example. And there I have it. So that's what this is. So I hit Control and scroll wheel out so I can zoom out a little bit and see a number of these things. Okay, so we've looked at a number of these things. I can turn my layers down. You do the same thing with adding videos with your source. I'm going to take that off for a minute. This is just adding shapes. This is adding buttons. Remember, when you add a button, you're basically adding, and here it is, zoom in a little bit. When you add a button to something, it's usually because it's going to be linked to something, and there's the link. But I'm going to add a table. Okay, last couple things I just want to show you. There's a lot more you can do with this. There's a lot of fine-tuning and details. I obviously just going through some of the very simple things that you can add in this. But these are just the basics, as in what you're actually trying to add in and make work. One of the things to pay attention to is if you notice here that there is a blue line, a thin blue line here. This thin blue line, if I go to preview preview document. Oops. This thin blue line is showing you where the print is going to cut off, and this outer part is not going to show up. So when I download this, and this is basically how you're going to either turn something in or print something out. You're downloading it as a PDF or an image, a JPEG or PNG, but basically a PDF. And in the free version, you're only going to get this. When you notice here, that blue line cut you off right there. So this is what you're going to see. This right here, that blue line cut off right there. So when you go to develop your document, everything inside the blue line is what you get. So see that part of the 0 right there just barely made it in. You got to pay attention to a lot of little details, because that's not going to that's not always going to make it in. But anyway, if you're trying to work in a classroom and you want to check on student progress, you may just end up having doing a collaborate. And basically what you do is you generate a link, multi-use, keep it on the edit, and you have a student generate link. So they generate a multi-use link, and you just copy this link. The student can email it or post it to the Google Classroom, and then that way you can click on the link, can view it, and then that way there's really not anything else to turn in, because you just view it, and then that way you can view the progress as it's being done. So that is the basics of Lucidpress.